Hello and welcome to Physics Basket. The topic that we are going to cover is Class 9 Foundation Topic 6, where we are going to discuss the problems on speed and velocity. So let's get started. With the first problem, which says that a car covers a distance of 60 meters in 3 seconds. What we need to find is the speed of the car. Second one is the distance that it would cover by the end of 30 minutes and the time that it would take to cover 54 kilometers. So it's a very simple one because we have a straightforward relationship between distance, time, and speed. So in case of a constant speed, since given is distance and time already, so we know speed equal to distance by time for a constant speed. So in this case, simply we can divide 60 by 3, so it gives us 20 meters per second. Now next is we need to find the distance that it would cover by the end of 30 minutes. So we have the time. So again, revisiting the same formula, distance will be speed into time. And we already know speed by this time, so it would be more simpler now. So distance after 30 minutes will be the speed into the total time that we are looking for. So speed is 20 meters per second. Already we know from the first problem, part of the problem. And then time is in minutes, so obviously we need to convert into seconds, 1800 seconds. And with that, we get distance after 30 minutes, which becomes 36,000 meter. Multiplying that with this formula, and which is nothing but 36 kilometers. Now the next one is the time that it would take to cover 54 kilometers. So by the time it covers 54 kilometers, what is the time it takes, right? So again, revisiting the same formula, time, again taking it back on the other side, so time will be the distance by velocity or speed in this case. So time taken to cover 54 kilometers, converting, obviously we need to convert 54 into again a meter in the SI unit, and velocity is speed is already known in this case, which is nothing but 20 meters per second, and reusing the same, and in this case we get time is equal to 54,000 kilometer by 20, because t equal to s by v. S is the distance and v is the speed. So we get 2700 seconds by which it would actually cover 54 kilometers. So that's our answer. So the second question says that the train travels at a speed of 36 km per hour for the 20 minutes, first 20 minutes, and then next 30 minutes it travels at a speed of 18 km per hour. That means that there are two different speeds at two different interval of time, and then what we need to find is the average speed and the total distance covered. So average speed, as we know, is the total distance by total time. Total distance. So we need to find the total distance that it has covered during both the intervals of time, that is 20 minutes plus 30 next 30 minutes, and then the total time taken. Total time taken is of course 20 plus 30 is equal to 50 minutes, right? So that's what we need to find out. So V1 is 36 km per hour. Converting that, we should convert into meter per second. So the simplest way is to multiply it by 5 by 18 and we get 10 meter per second. The other way also you can do, the harder way is 36 into 1000, kilometer is 1000 meter divided by 3600, R is 3600 seconds, which also give you this denominator, nothing but 5 by 18. So it's always easy, like simplest way, just simply multiply it and then you get the meter per second. So we know the speed at the first interval of time, and the time itself is 1200 seconds. 20 minutes is 1200 seconds, and then we need to find out the distance s1. So we are calling it as v1 t1. So s1 will be v1 multiplied by t1, as already we have done in the previous one. So s1 will be v1 into t1, and then we simply get the total distance that it has covered, which comes to be 12 kilometers. And then we try the same thing for the second interval, which is again 30 minutes. 30 into 60 is 1800 seconds. 18 kilometer per hour is again 18 into 5 by 8 is gives you 5 meter per second. So with that, we again we can find the value of S2 will be S2 into V2. Sorry, will be V2 into T2, right? So and with this, we'll be able to get the distance covered in the second interval. So first during that time period T2. So total distance is like S1 plus SS2, right? We know, and the total time taken is this time plus the next this time. So now we need to find out the average speed. So of course we know average speed is total distance by total time taken. So total distance is 12 plus 9, which makes it 21 kilometer, and total time is 15 minutes. 21 kilometer by 15 minutes is the 21 by 50 is the kilometer per minute. Of course we convert it into kilometer per hour. So 50 you can 50 minute is there. So 50 minute you can simply 50 by 60 you can do, and then you get the speed. Again, you want to convert it into meter per second, you can simply multiply with 5 by 18, again you get the same. Now the total distance covered already we have derived actually. So the second one, so we already know by this time that V1 T1 is the distance covered during the first interval, V2 T2 is the distance covered during the second interval. So 12 plus 9 is nothing but the 21 kilometer is our speed. So that's how we get to answer these two. So let's start with the next question, which says that the car moves 3 kilometer to east. Okay, so it has a direction also, and then 3 kilometer to north, and takes 10 minutes to reach the station. Okay, and find the average speed and the average velocity. So we know for average speed, it is again the same thing that we have done, the total distance covered. So we are not worried about east, west, north, south, nothing. So for us the distance matters, because for speed it is the distance by time. So distance is always magnitude, no direction. So we simply add the total distance. So distance 1, 3 kilometer, distance 2, another 3 kilometers. So total distance covered is 3 plus 3. So we get 6. And the total time taken, is 10 minutes. Convert it into hour if you like want to derive it in kilometer per hour. So that becomes 10 minutes is nothing but 1 by 6 hours, right? So average speed is total distance 3 plus 3 6 divided by 1 by 6. So you get the speed is equal to 36 kilometer per hour. That's your first answer. Now we need to find the velocity. So when we are concerned about the velocity, we are concerned about the direction also. So here comes the difference. So let us draw a diagram. So it goes to east, then it goes to north. So let's do it. So again, it's total displacement in this case, right? So we don't have distance, we have total displacement and the total time. Here comes in the car, so it moves 3 kilometers towards east, then 3 kilometers towards north, and concludes its journey. The total time taken is, of course, 10 minutes, but we are taking into consideration the direction also. So with this, we are forming the triangle ABC, which is a right angle triangle, and we know of course, this is not looking exactly 3 3, but okay. So this is the right angle triangle. So we need to find out the displacement. Displacement, as we know, is the shortest path between the starting point and the end point. So of course AC is the displacement in this case. This part we need to know. So from our previous way, we can simply find out AB square plus AC square, BC square. This will be BC square, and then we get to find out the value. So 3 square plus 3 square whole root of that, and then we get 3 root 2 kilometer, and the time we already know, the total time is 1 by 6. So with that, the average velocity is 3 by 2 divided by 3 root 2 divided by 1 by 6, and we get the magnitude of average velocity, which is 18 root 2 kilometer per hour. And then we need to find the direction, because when we say velocity, it has to be associated with the direction, since it's an isosceles triangle, which means that this is equal to this, so which simply means that this is also 45 degree. All right, so this is 45 degree. So with that, we can say this is northeast, this is the northeast direction, and 45 degrees. So the total velocity, average velocity, is 18 root 2, as we already found, and it is in the direction 45 degree northeast. That's our answer. So coming to the next question, it says that a boy runs around a circle of diameter d, it's a circle, and completes the round in time t. Find the average speed and average velocity. So average speed, again, it involves the distance. So if this is a circle and the boy starts with this point, and then it eventually goes all around and reaches this point again. So the total distance covered is nothing but the circumference of the circle. So with that, we already know the diameter is d. So the circumference is nothing but pi d, which is the total distance covered. The time taken already we know. So the speed will be pi d by t, which is our answer. Now the next thing, the average velocity. Alright, so to find the average velocity, we have, since velocity deals with the direction also, so in this case, it will be total displacement by total time taken. So displacement is what again? So let's take a different color. So if this is the starting point, it goes all the round and then reaches back to this point only, this point. So the displacement is nothing but zero, because eventually the shortest distance between the starting point and end point is again zero only. And we know the time, so 0 by time, nothing. So the velocity in this case becomes 0, because the displacement is 0. So that's our answer. So this concludes our current session, and the upcoming topic is the topic 7 on class 9 foundation, which we will cover the acceleration part. So till then, thank you for being here. Stay subscribed for further updates. Thank you.